Okay, Kyle. So once again, my Niners are in prime time. I'm hoping that they put on a better performance than they did against the Denver Broncos on Sunday Night Football. Familiar matchup for them. They go against the Los Angeles Rams, a team that up until the NFC Championship game, you could argue they had ownage over. 6 straight wins against the Rams going into that game, lose the most important of those matchups. And going into this week 4 game, another important matchup for the 49ers as they are 1-2. It's early. It is early in the season, but you don't like to go to 1-3. 1-3 is a tough spot in terms of making the playoffs. Math just starts going against you. The Rams coming off a win against the Arizona Cardinals, couple straight wins for the Rams after their rough opening night. The Niners, I think the big story is just going to be the injury report. Lost Trent Williams for about 4 to 6 weeks without a left tackle. We saw them win the Week 18 game without Trent Williams last year, but that's just not a sustainable thing. They lost Laken Tomlinson on the offensive line this offseason, so they just don't have the same left side of their offensive line. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's just going to have to get the ball out quick. That's going to be a needed part of the game plan. And a lot of questions have been around Kyle Shanahan this week. We saw the lip reading video. Lip reading gate is one of the big storylines going into this. Your plays effing suck. Maybe. Who knows? I'm not an expert. I can't say that that's for sure what Jimmy Garoppolo said, but it is one of the big controversies of the week. Niners are 1.5-point favorites in this game in Santa Clara. What do you think of this game, Kyle?
Yeah, 49ers injury report's the big deal there. But the Rams injury report, I feel like, is important because their injury report should have Matthew Stafford because Matthew Stafford looks absolutely broken to start the season. Not like he's played poorly, but he just can't do the things that Matthew Stafford has done for 12 years because he's got a shoulder injury and an elbow injury that he hasn't let recover over the last 2 years. And, it's been affecting the way that the Rams run their offense, not just against Buffalo, but also against the Cardinals. And I mean, they killed the Falcons. So I won't damn them too much to that.
They
The Falcons
did
came
allow
back.
the Falcons to climb back.
Yeah, the Falcons did climb back in the game and they kind of threw that one away. But I will say that by the time that one was 28-3, it's okay, you've done your job. You're a great team. You beat up a bad team. If the Falcons backdoor cover, good on them, bad on your defense. Okay, cool. And the Rams are in an interesting place because the Rams still can't run the football, and it's crazy to watch them try that. And obviously Cam Akers had another fumble on the goal line last week, which is the thing that you'll take away from that. But Cooper Kupp had a bad game against the Cardinals relative to Cooper Kupp, which in fairness, they didn't use him as much in the offense as they usually do. His usage rate is usually around 48%. It was only around 30% in the Cardinals game, which either that's the game plan or the Cardinals with the worst cornerback room in the NFL were shutting down Cooper Kupp, which would be strange. But obviously the Rams offense is predicated on Cooper Kupp. And I do actually think the 49ers have the ability to slow down and lock down Cooper Kupp, because as much as the injuries for them on offense have been rough to start the year, their defense has been relatively healthy, and guys like Charvarius Ward are actually going to be useful in slowing down Cooper Kupp. And once you take away Cooper Kupp, the Rams kind of don't have a whole lot else after that.
Yeah, the Niners defense through 3 weeks has been a top 5 NFL defense. They have been as advertised. Bosa's on his way to potentially a 20-sack year, 4 sacks through 3 games. Fred Warner's playing at high level. They did have a big injury in Azeez Al-Shaair, one of their top level linebackers. But I think one of the biggest strengths for the Niners over the last few years has been able to replace linebackers. They've been able to find value at that position. Demetrius Flanagan-Foles has been a linebacker that's been highly coveted by other teams, but the Niners refuse to let him go. And in a week like this, comes in handy to have that guy out there. Ebicom, Kinlaw, these are all guys that could get pressure. I think pressure is going to be the big thing for the Niners. We saw in week 1 when the Rams really struggled to get anything against the Buffalo Bills. It was because the Bills were consistently on Matthew Stafford's ass. If the Niners could kind of have that same level of intensity, put that much pressure on Stafford, I think that that's their opportunity to win this game. The jury's still going to be out on what the Niners offense can bring you. With Elijah Mitchell out, I think that's been a bigger injury than we've really let on. We kind of overlook Niners running backs because Kyle Shanahan has been able to consistently replace them. But I think that they are missing something. Jeff Wilson Jr. obviously had the big fumble at the end of the game against the Broncos while they were in comeback mode. Still low percentage that they would have made the comeback as is, but clearly that he's a step down in terms of running back. And we haven't seen the same creativity with Deebo Samuel in the running game. A lot of running between tackles, not a lot of interesting designs in terms of how they use Deebo. The first drive of the game for the Niners was the best drive of the game. Obviously, you get the touchdown, but last week, everything just kind of collapsed on them from that point moving forward. Without Trent in there, it is a monumental loss for the Niners. That's something that you just can't overlook. I think Mike McGlinchey is going to slide over to that side. And Mike has been fine in terms of run blocking, but he's never been much of a pass blocker. So it's going to be important for the Niners to establish some level of the running game. They've done great on containing Aaron Donald in their matchups over the last 7 times they played him. With the young offensive line that they're working with, can they still do that? Daniel Brunskill has been the guy that's been able to shut down Aaron Donald over the last few years for whatever reason. He just has a matchup advantage over there. Now it's going to fall on guys like Spencer Buford, Aaron Banks. Struggled his rookie year, couldn't even get on the field his rookie year due to injuries. This is going to be a tough week. I think that in terms of if you're a George Kittle fantasy owner, throwing out some free fantasy advice here, George Kittle, I don't think he's going to be involved in the passing game a lot this week. I think that they're going to rely on him much more as a blocker. So I think that's going to be the biggest notable shift in the Niners offense going in. Obviously, I'm still going to pick my Niners because loyalties don't fade. I think that we've seen them in this spot before. I think when the Niners have had their backs against the wall, that's usually when they perform at their best. The statistic officially out there is that the Niners are 9-1 in Jimmy Garoppolo, Kyle Shanahan-led games coming off a loss. I think that that's going to hold true this week, and they're going to bounce back after Sunday night.
You've got a little 49ers helmet over there on the desk, of course, and I think I'm going to also pick the San Francisco 49ers to win this week against the Los Angeles Rams, because the one unit that I have confidence in is the San Francisco 49ers defense. And I believe that they're going to have an excellent game against the Rams, which probably means Matthew Stafford's going to turn the ball over a couple times. I think that's a realistic possibility. And like you said, even if it's Brandon Ayuk getting involved in the offense a bit more, perhaps that might be a game plan for them. They might try and run the ball against the Rams, although that is the strength of the Rams. Run defense has been pretty good so far for them up to this point. They'll be able to scheme enough points possibly to edge out a victory against the Los Angeles Rams, because it's weird to say it, I don't really have a ton of confidence in the Rams offense. That's kind of crazy to say, given we're talking about Sean McVay, Cooper Kupp, even Matthew Stafford, even if he's a broken version of Matthew Stafford right now. I mean, I just don't have a ton of confidence in the Rams offense, and that's kind of crazy to say, but I'm going to take the 49ers as well on a Monday night victory, and it's a kind of a market correction. Both teams end up 2-2 after the chaos to start the year.
All right, guys, who do you got in this game? Is it going to be the 49ers? This is going to be the Rams. We'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on social media, and stay safe, happy, and healthy. We'll see you on the next one.